friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast. I am one half of your caffeinated host, Jamie, and I am here with Mark, who isn't even drinking coffee. More I think about it.
I am not.
No judgment. No judgment. It's late.
I'm a tired boy tonight, and I'm going to go to bed early, so I decided to go
Stick
without
to
the
water.
caffeine. I would much rather just not drink coffee over drinking decaf. Decaf
What's the
is
point?
The devil. I
we
mean,
don't even own it.
No, I don't think I've ever actually drank a cup of decaf coffee in my
You
entire
probably
life.
have in mistake or because a server didn't have enough fresh coffee and just gave you decaf.
Intentionally though, intentionally and knowingly have never let decaffeinated coffee ever grace my lips.
What's the
It's
point?
a sin against man.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Sin against Milo.
At any rate, here we go. We are back dealing with the Christmas bugs,
Christmas,
the
Thanksgiving,
craft
holidays
shows.
Suck. I don't like holidays. The only thing I like is wrestling.
Well, good thing we have a wrestling podcast.
We're using Bah Humbug. I mean, we haven't even addressed it. We didn't get. This is obviously going to be a late episode, anyways. We didn't get to it last week when the world completely melted down when we saw CM
Hell
Punk
froze over.
Make it. Yeah, hell literally froze over. We saw CM Punk make his return to the wonderful world of sports entertainment.
It still doesn't feel real.
It still feels like a fever dream, and at this point, it's what, Tuesday night, so he was on Raw the next day, and now we haven't seen him since. Maybe he's going to be on SmackDown this week, but
deciding whether or not he'll be on Raw or SmackDown.
He's already got the Roman Reigns schedule.
Oh yeah,
whenever he feels like it.
Well, I mean, you only want to use him so many times. He is very injury prone.
Yeah. But he is back in the WWE, something I don't think anybody would have ever thought we'd be ever saying in the same sentence again, which is WWE and CM Punk.
Sure, unless it was like a lawsuit or him telling them to fuck off.
Right. Not only that, he has tweeted out or Instagrammed out or social media'd out a photo of him and Paul Levesque, with their arms around each other.
That one's been making me sick to my stomach all week.
And now this, I'm bringing this up for a reason. Even Tripp said, that was 10 years ago. We're all different people by now.
He might be.
I'm gonna say it. I don't know what everybody else feels, and regardless of what the landscape of professional wrestling looks like with Phil Brooks back in the picture of WWE.
Philly Phil.
I think it's a very intelligent business acquisition.
Okay.
And without
from WWE's perspective,
and without somewhere on this computer, there's actually a complete rant about me just going off about CM Punk because we tried doing this before and the recording got messed up. But I know there's portions of recordings of me just going on, and I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to waste 15 minutes of me just rambling on the airwaves. So I'm going to say this: I have a hard time understanding how that man can wake up in the morning and look himself in the mirror and be okay with walking back into WWE. Now, that being said, I also have to preface that with every individual is their own individual self. They can do whatever the fuck they want. If they are a hypocrite and they accept the idea that what they are doing is hypocritical,
hey, that's his life.
What are you going to do? You know what I mean? With that being said, I on a sense of I don't even know, like, I can't stand the idea that he went back to WWE. I think it is the biggest pile of bullshit in the fucking world. I think he has got more egg on his face right now
for sure
than anyone else has been in the past 20 years.
Saying he came back for the fans was just absolute hypocrisy.
I'm done. I'm done bitching about it. From this point on, I want to know what they're going to do with CM Punk. He's part of WWE.
That's all you can do. We're already watching the product. We might as well look forward to what they're coming up with.
Okay.
Hopefully.
With that being said, now I got to wonder. Obviously, and the whole thing was that CM Punk was not. It was like within 10 days they started talking negotiations, and that morning of Survivor Series they signed the contract.
Right.
So it was already known that only like Triple H and Nick Khan were the only two that really fully knew that he was coming back, and very few people knew as it happened. So great, wonderful business accusation, whatever you want to. I'm bad.
It was a well kept secret.
It was one of the best kept secrets of all of professional wrestling. This now throws a massive, a knot in the system. Like because you know that creative has been sitting there. Okay, we're gonna do whether it's Cody Rhodes is going to win at WrestleMania 40, or The Rock is coming back at WrestleMania 40, or this person's going to win at the Royal Rumble, or Seth Rollins is going to lose the title to so-and-so at this pay-per-view. I got to wonder, like, what does this mean for, like, the landscape of WWE creative? I mean, they've got to take either the biggest name of professional wrestling, not the biggest as in like the most talented, most sought after, but
more
literally
controversial
the most
and talked about.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna put him on TV. So what do you do with him?
You either scrap plans with somebody and throw him into a storyline that was going to be between two other people.
But you're talking like main event storyline,
or you just don't have anything for him for a little bit.
I mean, but I feel like they'd be stupid to do that.
They would be for sure. But again, this stuff is so far planned out. You can't just come up with this
right. I mean, Triple
really
H has
quick
even said
storyline.
Yeah, Triple H has even said that the Bloodline stuff is 6, 7, 8, 9 months out.
Exactly. So
out.
how do you throw CM Punk real quick into WrestleMania?
Especially the Bloodline.
I mean, it's December.
The only fresh face in all of WWE right now with the Bloodline. Like, he has no ties to the Bloodline. He's never involved with the Bloodline. The only thing he's involved with was bringing Roman Reigns into the WWE via the Shield.
Technically, yes. Yeah. So he has nothing to do with any of this.
It's like, obviously Triple H has some idea what he wants to do with them. You know what I mean? It's
I would hope.
I
would hope you wouldn't invest all this money and have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't feel like that. He's probably one of the most educated in professional wrestling right now. Like,
for sure.
Behind the scenes,
for sure.
Obviously being Mr. McMahon's son-in-law, married to the one and only daughter of Vinnie Mac.
A drive-through wedding.
Yeah, the drive-through wedding. It's one of those things to where it's like he's got to know what he's talking about when he did this. Like, he didn't do this as a knee-jerk reaction because I just want to stick one to AEW. I'm sure there was a little bit in there that the entire time that this was all happening, he was wringing his hands going, I got this little bastard, that fucking T-shirt company.
Of course. Well, and the nice thing too here is, like, you already have something with Seth Rollins. You don't have to storyline anything. You already have that. So he's kind of doing his own thing storyline wise right now, but once he gets through the next premium live event, they could 100% just stick Seth Rollins and CM Punk in their own rivalry, which is kind of funny to think because that's where it all kind of started with Cody Rhodes too.
I feel like it needs to cook though. I feel like they need to let that one simmer because that's one of the like more obvious ones that I think that, especially with Seth's reaction when CM Punk debuted at Survivor Series.
They could cook that till WrestleMania.
100%. I could totally see a CM Punk Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania.
Main event night 1.
Ooh. Cody against Roman Reigns.
Yep, night 2. Ooh, that's weird. AEW guy versus WWE guy.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I wonder if they've had
that's kind of weird because they started in WWE.
Oh, yeah. But I wonder if they both have that conversation. Like, so I guess you didn't like working there either, did you?
Don't know. You know what? Completely different reasons why they left.
Yeah. So what's the bigger news? That CM Punk went to WWE, that he got fired from AEW?
I think the bigger news is that I still have a hard time believing that Tony Khan actually grew a set and got rid of him. I mean, I understand now. I
don't think it was his choice.
No.
After the news of hearing about Bryan Danielson supposedly being the final word.
Sure. Why would you have some type of board?
Fired or not?
Yeah. Why would you have some type of board if you weren't going to listen to what they were going to say? But he still was able to do so.
Because he was involved in the event. I don't know if legally they'd want him to be involved with that decision.
Don't know.
It'd be a biased opinion.
Don't know. But very interesting that Bryan Danielson
threatened his life in some capacity. So I mean, you would be a little bit impartial. I know if somebody pulled not saying CM Punk pulled a gun on him, but somebody pulled a weapon on me or attempted to harm me or somebody I cared for. And then I'm on the jury. I feel like I'd be a little bit
for sure
jaded on
but
one side,
I don't think he necessarily had to do that.
No.
I think that's to me the bigger news is that they actually were like, hey, you know what? We're getting rid of you because AEW doesn't fire people. They let their contract ride out and kind of go from there. They just don't renew your contract. They're not really notorious for ever firing anybody. So
but they are notorious for signing a whole shitload of people they don't need to sign.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's getting to a point now where they're starting to get rid of some people that they had
cannon fodder that's left over from previous contracts.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't blame them because I mean, AEW really came into the market trying to impress everyone, and to do that, you can't just have unknown independent stars just hanging out on the roster and doing. I mean, whether it's great matches or not, if you don't have some type of connection to these wrestlers, So
some type of star power, people don't want to tune in.
I think bringing like Jericho in really like helped them, but I think what happened is over the 3 years that they really like started to try to make an impression on people, they were trying to like really dig their heels in. We signed this person.
Right.
And I think I think now the inflated roster has now kind of bubbled.
It has.
Where people are like, what are we doing here? Because, I mean, Britt Baker has voiced her displeasure on how much time she hasn't had on TV. The Hardys have said something. I mean, there's some kind of negativity in the back of AEW right now due to a lot of the stuff that's going on, which, I mean, that's the ebbs and flows of having a company, especially one that's a sports entertainment company like this, that's trying to appease to fans that have been only fed the same thing for 30 years.
Somebody like Britt Baker, who was just force-fed, and I'm okay with that, I'm a huge Britt Baker fan, who was just force-fed in every single women's match for like a year straight. So it was almost nice to kind of get a step back from somebody like Britt, but I think something now would be a great time to kind of put her back in there,
with their women's division, because
they do. It needs some work.
It's mid. Like, I hate saying that because I love the women on AEW's roster. They're a lot of them are really good at their craft, but they're just
the storyline. It's the
amount of time they get on TV,
the hype they put into it. If you don't put a lot of presentation into it, we're not going to be excited about it.
I mean, look at Toni Storm. Like they poured time and energy into Toni Storm,
and then what? She had one time where she talked about, how she was thankful that she was the champion.
Right.
That's fantastic. But there's a lot of things that need to be done in that particular division. But time tells.
So last week on Raw, we had what is the title of the stupid thing?
Tag Team Turmoil.
Tag Team Turmoil for the number one contender spot for the tag team titles, which I don't remember the last time we've even seen them defended since they changed hands back to the Judgment Day.
I think they had a rematch.
Yeah,
and
everybody gets a rematch.
Not a whole lot since, but this was kind of fun. Sometimes they do these and they drag out for a little bit too long. This one was actually very entertaining. It didn't have.
I mean, when I heard about it, I was like, oh man, I don't know about this, because anytime WWE does these like little mini one show tournaments, it always is just kind of like, okay, well, we can see who's going to win. Like from a mile away,
or it just drags on for far too long. Now it's just bored, and the same team wins for like 5, and then they lose at the last second. But it didn't really go down like that. It started off with Alpha Academy and DIY, who had a great back and forth. Surprisingly, DIY was the one that ended up going forward. Obviously,
they're getting a little bit more momentum than
DIY. Alpha Academy obviously is there. They're doing their thing with Tazawa and Maxine and entertaining nonetheless.
They kind of got back in a rut again.
Yeah, they got pushed on the back burner for sure.
Yeah, which is a shame, because ever since Chad Gable had that match against Gunther for the Intercontinental title, it seems like they've just like dialed it back, which I can understand. You don't want to oversaturate the market with Alpha Academy.
Right.
But
they're almost too good with Chad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you have to kind of put the other guys in spot. And the nice thing here is that they're putting some NXT people in the limelight, which is fantastic. Obviously, DIY coming from NXT. The Creed brothers end up coming up.
I feel like they're finally getting into their stride.
Yeah.
They picked up another win this week over Imperium.
Yep.
And the 2 out of 3 fall match was a great match.
Oh, that was really great. So obviously Indus came out. DIY was able to defeat them.
Which what a shame that they keep bringing those guys out, like Indus like they're some massive powerhouse, and every time they're on TV, I don't know how they are. I know a couple of dark matches they've won, but it just seems like they just get every time they get their ass kicked.
Then they botch.
I know.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Just big dudes. I don't know if they I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with them. Every time they try to do something. Veer Mahan was coming to Raw for 6 months, and then he went to NXT.
Jinder Mahal was a world champion,
and he's managing him.
He's just managing them.
Yeah,
you see him like 3 times a year. Really weird. Right? But obviously they didn't win. We all kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah.
But this is when the Creed brothers got an opportunity to fight against the New Day, which was really, really fun. Mm-hmm. Everybody did a great job of putting each other over no matter what match it was, but the Creed brothers absolutely just annihilated everybody. They got to the end where they were so winded because they were working so hard at the beginning there.
They've been pushing so hard. It's been so nice.
So good.
They really are. They really are.
They've done a great job of making you want to know who they are because we don't really watch NXT. We didn't know anything about them.
Right.
So to be able to see them in action, now I want to see them again. It's been, 2 weeks and we've seen them wrestle twice.
Right.
So now it makes you actually like invested in these people. When they bring these people up and they don't do anything with them, who gives a shit?
Right.
There's so many people that just got brought up from the NXT roster that are just lost.
Yeah.
In the back.
Right.
Unfortunate. But anyways, the Creed brothers ended up beating Imperium to become the number one contenders.
That's awesome.
Really surprising.
Imperium's starting to get some serious like cracks in the foundations. I mean, Giovanni and Ludwig, they kind of bouncing back and forth. Who's the weakest link? And
for sure, which was surprising because Giovanni actually, I think, did the better job.
Yeah.
On last week's Raw in this match,
I was shifted a little bit towards him,
and his physique looks great. It's like he's really getting himself ready. So makes you think.
Oh yeah.
Singles run might be the time to kind of break these guys up, do their own thing. Yep.
But yeah, Creed brothers end up getting the win. They are now the number one contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship. I'm actually very excited to see that they're doing this. Like I a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how much new talent they've been bringing into WWE TV, and the Creed
finally
brothers
doing something.
The Creed brothers have been like one of their biggest pushes.
Are they even signed with the main roster? Or they're NXT?
Yeah, they signed a Raw.
Oh, they did sign. Okay,
right. Yeah, because they signed a Raw and then they announced.
That's right.
I can't remember her name.
I remember now. They just did it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, and then ever since then they have been winning every match they've been in.
That's how you push people.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, they think like the complete opposite for years. Let's bring people up and just have them lose.
I mean,
who cares?
They still do that. There's still a couple people that got signed to Raw and SmackDown that haven't even shown back up on TV. Mm-hmm. But
what was the tag team? The NXT, they were the women's tag team.
Alba Fire and
Isla Dawn. Oh my God, they're so good. They tease them every once in a while. They do this cool little like video.
Couple teases around Halloween with them, and then nothing. I don't know. The women's tag division's a little weird right now.
It is.
We don't try to focus on the bad stuff right now, but I gotta say, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green's tag team championship run, I felt like started really, really great with Chelsea winning with, I don't even remember who she won with.
God, I can't even remember at this point either. They got hurt.
They ended up getting hurt, and Piper and Niven getting stepped in, and for a couple of weeks I was like, okay, this is good. I like this. They're kind of, leaning into Chelsea Green's, I want to see your manager gimmick, and Piper Niven's, I'm just going to rip your head off kind of gimmick. But now I just feel like I don't know. It just feels blah.
It's not as interesting, and they're not really doing anything story-wise with it either, unfortunately.
No.
Oh, it was Sonya Deville, I think. Yep, it was Sonya Deville.
Well, they also had a match this week. I think it was last night on Raw. It was Tegan Nox and Natalya took on, and I'm going to ruin, I can't remember, Katana Chance and
Caden Carter.
Caden Carter, thank you. I was really hoping I was going to be able to pick that one up.
Oh, it's all good. That's what I'm here for, babe.
They got a little bit of momentum with Natalya and Tegan Nox. Obviously, Natalya's Natalya. Tegan Nox is over with the crowd. And they give the win to the other two.
Yes.
And I didn't
They could have used that win 6 months ago.
And I don't I don't understand where or how we're building this up. Like we have one team that gets a little bit of momentum, and now another team takes them out, and now that's it. I mean, are they going to be pushed now? So
they should be pushed, but it just doesn't. It didn't make any sense.
It really did. Not after. I don't know what they're doing with it, because it felt like for a while there they were really starting to get their footing with the women's tag team division.
Tegan Nox is so good.
And now it's just,
she had that great match with Becky, and obviously Natalya. She's great. She like lives in the gym, constantly training. So she's really good at making other people look good, and she can tag with literally anybody.
Oh yeah.
So again, I just don't understand what the idea is. I don't know if maybe they're just trying to like give wins and see what sticks.
I guess. I mean,
don't know.
It's not sticking with me though.
No, it's unfortunate.
What is sticking though? Drew McIntyre finally turned full heel.
Love it.
On Monday night. You saw him kind of getting a verbal altercation with Sami Zayn last week over his behavior and yada, yada, yada. We all know the shtick. Drew ended up kind of lashing back, saying, well, I guess I'll just have to start climbing my way back up by pretty much stomping on you, Sami, and challenged him for A match on Monday absolutely whooped Sammy's ass.
It was a great match.
It was a really good match.
It was a PLE match on a Monday.
Drew ended up doing the heel thing and just focused on the weakened knee ankle area of Sami Zayn after he came down hard on both his feet. I'm actually I am more invested in Drew McIntyre now than I have been since he was in the world title picture.
Oh, I've got to agree with you too. I don't know why face Drew just doesn't do it for me. He's just too generic.
He's good. Like, he's a great face. Like,
he's a great wrestler.
He's a good looking dude. He's a tall, muscular man.
Sure.
He has great hair. His beard comes in perfect. You cover him in a little bit of oil.
Got an accent.
He's great. Like, he is the most cliche good guy. I want this man saving my cat from a tree.
Sure. Too spot on though, you know?
But he just looks so good in black.
He really does.
Like, he pulls that, like, broody chip on your shoulder, like, I've got something to prove and nobody to prove it to kind of attitude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I like that so much better. And he's so
brutal when he's heelish. He just, like, when
a headbutt and is bleeding down his forehead.
Last week, that was so good.
So good.
So good. But, yeah, he ended up taking out Sami Zayn at the beginning of the night. Kind of saw not really a lot of them after that. And then the end of the night, main event of Raw, you had Jey Uso taking on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. And kind of weird, but kind of not. Drew didn't interrupt the match. He waited until the end of the match. It was a clean finish between Jey and Seth. Seth obviously retains. And then immediately after the match, Jey rolls out of the ring and Drew McIntyre blindsides the hell out of him with a Claymore. Seth Rollins jumps out of the ring, tries to get involved. He ends up just destroying Seth Rollins. It was so refreshing for once at the end of a Monday Night Raw.
It really was.
You didn't have 15 people fighting.
Yep.
And ruining the ending of some multitude individual tag match.
And it wasn't Bloodline affiliated with the breakup, because that's how I assumed.
It was Bloodline adjacent, though.
Well, I assumed that the ending was going to be Jimmy interfering, Jimmy doing something that was going to distract Jey and continue from him ever winning a championship.
I love the idea. We haven't even touched on that yet.
Yeah, I really like that too.
I mean, it's obviously it's going to happen. We're going to see Jimmy versus Jey, and the only place I can see it happening is WrestleMania.
For sure.
Like, how else are you going to have the Usos, the two Usos, probably the best tag team in professional wrestling? Like, and I say that flat-footed, knowing damn well that FTR is an AEW, but how are you going to have those two guys fight on any other stage besides WrestleMania?
Well, they have before, but I mean,
against each other?
Yeah.
They have not had a singles match against each other in WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania, no, they absolutely have not.
That's what I mean. Like,
they absolutely have not. So it would just be absolutely insane.
Oh, I can't see how you at this point you can't have that.
I'd be invested.
This is the only opportunity right now you would have to have the Usos not just or still be a tag team at some point in their careers, but also have the capability to have a one-on-one match with more than just, okay, who's the better brother?
Yeah, and that grand of a stage.
Oh, yeah.
It'd have to be no interference, no outside, for real. For real,
no Solo,
because that's what it was
Roman,
before.
No Paul Heyman.
That's what it was before, was no outside interference, and that obviously didn't go out like they said it was supposed to.
You mean with the tribal combat that the families made the decision that this is, more than just a wrestling match.
Never said who in the family.
Yeah, but family.
The idea that they just made such a big deal about it was just going to be the two of them and it ended with an outside interference.
Every Roman Reigns match has ended in the past
Such a
2
bummer.
years.
Such a bummer. So yeah, doing a WrestleMania match between the two of them would just be huge.
So do you think they're going to give the belt to Cody at WrestleMania? I know we're on the road to WrestleMania. Like, the next premium live event is the Royal Rumble, which we all know the winner of the Royal Rumble will get a shot at Roman Reigns' title. Although I'm not sure if that is 100% correct, if it's an automatic you get a shot at Roman's title, or if it is you get a shot at any title.
I was under the impression it was any title.
I know it was at one point, but I think over the past few years they've slowly push it in the direction of it's a world title shot, which I mean, I'm not mad at. I mean, you're beating 29 other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then right there, well, there's the main event. So
and
it just makes it a little bit easier.
I feel like it'd be real silly to be like, well, no, I want to go for the United States title. Like,
right, exactly. Why would you want to do something like that?
But
I mean, it kind of puts prestige on if you're like, hey, I want to fight Gunther, and you're like, oh shit, you want to fight Gunther?
You really want to elevate that title's stock.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Intercontinental Championship. That would be like, wow, Cody's picking Gunther. Wow,
on one of the 7 main events of WrestleMania, which
for sure
still irks me every time they say it. It's one of 3 main events. Like, you can't have 3 main events. Mike Tyson can only fight 1 time in a night.
It's a buy one get one free premium live event.
Well, CM Punk's is part of one of those buy one get one.
Hope the grass is always greener on the other side,
always
dude.
greener.
Do I think that Cody is going to win the belt? Do I think or do I want? I think I'm at a point now.
I guess the fairer question is, do you think the match is even going to happen?
Do I think the match is going to happen? I think that it could definitely happen. Do I think he could win? I do. I think it's gotten to a point where, like, people aren't really invested in the bloodline anymore. And I know
they're only invested in the bloodline because everybody wants to see who's going to take the belt.
Exactly. And I think that if they gave it to somebody like Cody, having somebody who has been a heel for so long having the belt, and then having this just like super face have the belt, it's not a bad business move. They would sell a shitload of t-shirts.
And Hulk Hogan.
They'd sell a bunch of merch.
Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan,
They'd sell a bunch of merchandise. They have somebody who's really good on the mic and who has like a world championship potential, of course.
Right.
I don't think it's a bad move. I think if they do that and they have Cody lose again, people are just going to be really...
What do you do with it then?
Irritated at that point.
I mean, like, what do you do with his quote unquote story at that point?
Well, and who would take it from Roman, aside from, like I said, I've been speculating for a while. Maybe, I wish, maybe Solo would.
He came back. Congrats to the R-Truth coming back
congrats.
after oh my God, that terrible injury. He just walked out of the ring and died.
That was
Vince
awful.
McMahon.
I had speculated maybe Solo would, but they're not even showing Solo. They're not even showing Roman. They're not showing Paul. They're not really doing anything with that right now. So I can't see it going anywhere with but Cody if they want to have some momentum behind it.
Right.
But I don't know if people are going to be like, oh my God, wow. It's not going to be like when Taker lost.
Right.
That's for sure.
I mean, you could put Randy Orton in that spot.
Oh,
you got CM Punk,
honestly,
Randy Orton.
I would much rather personally see Randy Orton fight him. But then if he won, people would be like, what in the hell?
I think there's going to be a degree of no matter who finally dethrones Roman, there's going to be a degree of, well, duh.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not going to have, I mean, I think we all knew LA Knight wasn't going to win. I think there was a...
Of course.
There was a
that would have been a bad move, honestly.
The more I'm sitting here scratching my head saying there's a snowball's chance in hell. I mean, hell
hey,
CM Punk's back in WWE, so anything's possible. But I just... At this point, I feel like you have to have some big story has to complete with Roman Reigns losing the title.
And the only thing that makes sense is Cody.
I mean, yeah, it really does. But I feel like it's too obvious. I feel like it's un-WWE right now because they're kind of throwing some I can't even think of the name where you throw shit in a gear and it fucks it all up. But anyways. I feel like that they're constantly trying to stir the pot a little bit.
Oh yeah,
this new like creative direction that Triple H is kind of headed so far is moving WWE in a little bit more of a direction that's more palatable to more than just your common WWE fan.
Yeah, it's a good move.
I'm not saying they're going to by any chance they're going to have death matches anytime soon.
No,
but with a 2 out of 3 falls match with teams that 2 years ago you would have never even heard of on the main roster.
Right.
Having a spot that large and having the crowd be that over, I mean, I think they're starting to do something a little bit right with their storylines. I think they're starting to to not right the ship, but like really streamline what we've got here.
Triple H has a good eye for talent. He knows why he hired these people and why they were so over in NXT. Let's push them. Let's show people that there is a reason why we need to watch them.
Right.
And it's nice to see like fresh faces on here too.
It really is. It's nice to see not just the same. And not that I don't like Dolph Ziggler, but it's nice to see Dolph Ziggler's not the only one that can go out there and put on a good match.
Exactly.
To just have a good match.
Exactly.
AJ Styles is coming back.
Well, that's good.
He was supposed to come back a couple weeks ago, but plans were kind of stifled. But supposedly this week he should be making his return back to the SmackDown brand.
Well, that's good. Hopefully,
So
Me Chin will get some TV time.
Yeah, another big name finally coming back to the show. But we are on the road to WrestleMania. Like I said before, we have the Royal Rumble will be coming up in January.
Yep.
The only person that I know of that's announced is that for the Rumble so far is Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say rumors of Rhea Ripley possibly facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Okay, I could see that. There's plenty of time to build that up.
That would be
WrestleMania or Royal Rumble?
WrestleMania.
Okay.
Giving it some time to stew.
WrestleMania is going to be interesting this year because a lot of
excited.
There's
good potential here.
You got Rhea, who's on one hell of a run. You got Gunther, who's on a record-breaking run. Obviously, you've got Roman Reigns on another run that's just beyond measure at this point.
Of course.
You have the Judgment Day, which they haven't defended those titles that much, but they really are one of the top
talked about
factions. Yeah,
they're always in the limelight. Absolutely,
they've practically taken over Raw.
Yeah,
you pretty much have the Bloodline on SmackDown, and you've got the Judgment Day on Raw. And even on Raw, they're trying to bleed into NXT. They're trying to bleed into SmackDown.
They're doing a good job of it.
They really are. I'm actually very excited for the product WWE is putting out. I'm not normally one to be more sports entertainment, but as of late, I've just been. Other than me being tired because I'm an old man, I'm getting excited to watch the majority of the content that's on WWE programming. Not quite into the NXT yet. There's a couple things I see, and it kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit, but that just might be me, and might be call me a hypocrite. I don't know.
Well, we got a podcast. We can't help but be a little bit judgmental.
I can do whatever I want on this fucking podcast.
Just like justifying it, right?
Yeah.
Totally. So lately, AEW has been quote unquote going in a different direction than they normally have over the last few years.
It's
going
strange,
a little bit more
it's different. I don't like it, and I don't want it to change, and I'm cranky. Sorry.
I don't know. I love it.
Average WWE fan.
For me personally, I love a good storyline, but I don't mind if you're like, oh, hey, Okada's fighting Jon Moxley today. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need a story there. That's perfectly okay with me.
I've grown to realize that there's more than just WWE style of professional wrestling, and I've grown to actually enjoy it just as much as you have.
I really like the Japanese style wrestling.
Just matches. Like, why we gotta have match? Because we're in a tournament. Because I want to beat you. Because I want to be better than you.
Brody King wants to fight Eddie Kingston. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, and
they've been doing exactly what did Claudio call it? The C2, the Continental Classic.
It's been one of those things where everybody's been calling it the C2, very reminiscent of the G2.
Similar point
G1,
ranking system. As far as a win will get you 3 points, a time limit draw will give you 1 point apiece.
And if you don't do either one of those, you suck. You don't get any points.
And you get no points, which there are a few people.
What the fuck?
Like Mark Briscoe that have 0 points. Eddie Kingston, I would have not guessed, would have 0 points after 2 matches. I'm really invested in this Continental Classic. Almost started because of that exact thing. I was diehard 100%. There's no way Brody King is going to beat Eddie Kingston. He's the champion that has the 2 belts that's going into the Continental Classic. It was his idea, quote unquote.
Right. To put up those other 2 belts.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that he's going to lose. And when you ended up going to bed, you weren't feeling well. When I saw that Brody King won, I literally jumped out of my seat and I was so excited. The smile on my face, I was like, no, they didn't. That's insane. What a good way to like put a damper on Eddie and make him feel just like sad. And I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
And pretty soon he's going to be going up against Claudio.
That's this week.
And that is not going to help the morale.
Well, he just
so interested to see what they're doing.
He just
with
ended
this.
up wrestling his stablemate Bryan Danielson, and one of like the probably most hard hitting matches of either one of their careers.
That was rough.
And yeah, he ended up getting Eddie lost again, and I really like what they're doing with him because his mental struggles, his confidence have always been a thing that has both in kayfabe as well as in real life has daunted his life.
Exactly.
He gets one setback and he internalizes it.
Right.
Believes he's not worth it and ends up
here's another setback.
And that was kind of like a focus point for him, and winning the ROH World Championship is he's got to be a better version of himself in order to earn that title, and he ended up doing it. and now he's back and he's getting faced with those same demons again, to where maybe he's not good enough to beat this guy or that guy, but that doesn't mean he can't. That doesn't mean he can't.
Right.
That just means he didn't, and
right.
and he's struggling with the idea of like, okay, I'm 0-2. I am on the lower end of the spectrum of this competition right now. It's going to be all an uphill battle, and even though it's an uphill battle, I got to be in it. I am a champion. I have got to get back on the horse.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see if he can beat Claudio. Considering Brody just beat Claudio again,
right.
I just could not believe this. So right now, over on the Blue League, we have Brody King with 6 points, Andrade and Bryan Danielson and Claudia with 3 points, Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston with nothing.
Right.
Interesting to see. Daniel Garcia dealing with his own like mental demons, and
it's hard to dance. It really is hard to dance,
and it's hard not to dance.
I think that's
when
his
you're
bigger
Daniel
problem.
Garcia.
He's having a hard time not dancing.
Over on the Gold League, we have John Moxley, Swerve Strickland with 6 points, Jay White and Roosh with 3, and Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe.
Big goose eggs, yeah.
Goose egg.
I mean, I feel like John Moxley makes sense. He's the internet, or he's the AEW darling.
Swerve is going up 2 wins over Hangman Adam Page with that death match that he just recently won in. He's been on a huge streak of wins.
Swerve and Jay White match was so goddamn good.
It was fantastic.
Like when that match started, both of us were sitting there like, I don't know which way they're going with this, because Swerve, like you said, he's coming off a big win with Hangman, and it was only days before that match.
I know, he was beat up. Jay could really use the win, and he ended up not picking it up.
Yeah, but he ended up beating Roosh later on in the week, getting himself the first win. Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe. I feel like, though, if you look at Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia, I feel like those are the 3 that could go 0-6, or 0-5, or whatever that total would be, and not worry about it coming out of the other end of this, the competition. Same thing with Roosh. If Roosh doesn't win this, I can't see. But Swerve, same way. But I feel like Jay White really needs to get this win. He
really needs to get this win.
I think if I had to choose who I want to see in the last 2, it would be Jay White and Eddie Kingston.
Okay. That would be really fun. Again, Japanese style wrestling that they're both heavily involved in.
Right.
Eddie's going to have to really pull a miracle to get that one to work.
Because if Brody wins, if Brody wins one more, it's going to pull Eddie completely out of the competition.
Right.
Whether he wins his 5th match or not, he's going to completely pull him out of the competition.
And I believe Brody's off this week because he got so far ahead in the league that he actually got like a pass for.
Okay, yeah.
For this upcoming
everybody
week.
Everybody will end up getting something passed because you can't put all these matches on at once.
Oh yeah, exactly. So coming up this week for the Continental Classic, we have 3 Gold League matches, Jay Lethal and Jay White. That's always a fun situation. We were there at Revolution Live
Adam Cole and Adam Page.
That's
Adam,
fun.
Adam sucks.
Let's go Adam sucks.
That was the best. Okay. Truth be told, I was born in Massachusetts. I am not a native Floridian. I do not claim to be a native Floridian.
I am.
You are. My daughter
Nothing wrong
is.
with
My
that.
son is. I don't know. I'm not a Floridian. But I'm not going to lie, I was proud to be a Florida resident that day.
Oh, Orlando has the best wrestling scene.
They go so good. It's so good.
I think we're almost spoiled because when I watch a wrestling match or like any type of wrestling event on TV or a premium live event, pay-per-view, whatever it is, and the crowd sucks, I am the first person to be so vocal, like, why is this crowd not... I get offended. Why is this crowd not cheering?
Everybody hated Albany, New York last night on Raw. Like, I don't pay attention a lot to the crowd unless it's like
I can't help it.
But apparently nobody was happy with the crowd last night.
Just when you're not popping for the right thing and you're not excited for these matches, it's like, well, how dare you know what? We shouldn't have given you Drew versus Sami Zayn. You didn't deserve it.
Yeah, right.
You know.
But yeah, Orlando always pops for wrestling.
Great crowd.
If you ever watched TNA back in the day when they were in the Impact Zone, that is Orlando. That's Orlando Studios. Like, I've been to a handful of those. Every time I went there, everybody gets buck.
Oh, there's a reason why ROH was there for a while too. We were so blessed to be a part of almost all of the ROH matches that they just did recently in Orlando as well. We just have a great wrestling scene, and it's like everybody's ingrained with like what the things to do. Like everybody knows like the generic lines to say. We know when to clap. We know when to yell. We know when to yell somebody's name.
Right.
It's just crazy that catches on so well. Like
what's nice about being in Florida is you always have that one guy that's drank just a little bit too much.
Adam Cole, baby.
There's a guy in front of us. He was. To say he was blitzed is giving him the benefit here. This dude was so shit tanked. This was at Revolution. Mm-hmm. What was it, 2021? 22?
22.
Yeah. He was so obliterated. Adam Cole came out. He did the thumb thing and pointed at his head. And I think he left his arm above his head for probably about 8.5 minutes. We were also sitting behind Junior Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
there was a guy in the same row as us who like got our attention and was like, "Am I right? Is this not Brock Lesnar?"
He pulled up a picture of Brock Lesnar when he was playing football, and he's like, "Tell me that's not him." And it's like 100%.
Oh yeah,
had the wife beater, the little like the blonde rat tail that was formed from an overgrown high and tight.
The crowd's interesting, but the majority of the wrestling fan knows what's up.
Lots of Hawaiian shirts.
At any rate, Jay White, Jay Lethal. Hopefully it'll be just as much of a banger as the Adam versus Adam match that we were able to see.
I can't see Jay Lethal getting a win over Jay White, though.
No, absolutely not. And this next match, oh my God, poor Mark Briscoe. He has to take on Swerve Strickland.
I don't know. That redneck kung fu. That shit looks like it hurts. That's going to peak. That shit looks like it hurts like hell.
What does he call that? The froggy boat?
The froggy boat. But yeah, Briscoe taking on Swerve Strickland, and we will have Jon Moxley probably beating Roosh.
I don't know. That could go either way.
I'm going to give it to Jon Moxley.
That could go either way. I've become a very big Roosh fan.
You used to hate Roosh.
I wasn't a big...
Strictly because of his back knee.
Well, yeah, that didn't help. That didn't help. It didn't help.
You could connect the dots with that shit. That was
It didn't
bad.
help. MJF's kind of getting on that too. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Roosh. I think Andrade
some
wasn't...
shots that you got to take right here in the hip.
Yeah, ouch.
The Trent
I think Andrade kind of overpowered Roosh for me personally. So when Andrade was gone for a little bit, I became such a big fan of Roosh. So I think that's going to be really good. And Jon Moxley's going to put on one hell of a match for that one.
Oh, yeah.
What were you going to say?
What are you going to say?
I was going to talk about the tag team match after that.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. You go ahead.
What a banger.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just looking at the lineup for Dynamite coming up this week. And MJF and Samoa Joe are taking on the masked assailants.
Right.
They haven't really come up with their name yet. Apparently, word on the street is that the masked assailants will be demasked.
Oh, no.
That's
the most disrespectful thing you can do to a masked wrestler.
At World's End.
At World's End? So what are they? That's weird.
Yeah. That's what I'm reading.
That's weird.
What does Twitter know, though?
Did they like call them like, hey, will you guys take your masks off at World's End? They're like, yeah.
I will.
Just to be menacing.
I love that ever since they've come out with their ski masks, everybody and their mother has been analyzing, well, if you look, clearly it's Matt Taven because that guy's bald, or this guy has hair, and that guy's Mike Bennett because this guy's bald. And I'm like, clearly what? Like, I don't see it. And then some other people it definitely looks like Wardlow. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you like comparing their heights in like Photoshop or something? I don't understand what people are doing, but it's been a ride. I've seen people say that's Britt Baker.
People like, come out of the woodwork like they've got like some analyzing 3D modeling shit from NCIS in their bedroom. Like, well, I've analyzed their height, weight, width, and their wingspan of their back. And
exactly.
There's only 3 individuals in all of professional wrestling that have ever had those exact dimensions, and they're all from the 1970s.
So clearly it's them.
Clearly.
Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't want to like interpret things like that to find out who it is and have it ruined for me. I'm just sitting here like they'll tell us eventually. Like I
just hope when it ends up they
enjoy the ride.
Them pulling their mask off, it's not like Primo and Epico. Like I hear. Okay, here's an interesting theory, but I think it wouldn't necessarily be the best idea. Okay,
and we might have talked about this before. No. That said person that is the main devil,
the devil
has access to the lighting and Yeah, remember when they said that?
Are we really breaking down the logic of when lights and music come on with a fucking professional wrestling show?
Yeah, that somebody would have access to that.
I will pretend like they don't do. Okay,
So that's what they said. Somebody has access to the lighting and the music and the backstage.
Sure,
okay,
Tony Khan.
So somebody that has a gimmick that would do such thing would be Sami Callihan.
Okay.
That's his gimmick.
Okay.
But my worry is if that is him, they're going to pull the mask off and people are going to go, who the fuck is that?
Maybe. But isn't that been like 80% of AEW's Who's Under the Masks?
Yes. It is.
I think that's like one of AEW's calling cards right now. It
doesn't bother me because I know who it is.
Build up. Who the fuck are you?
See, but we don't have that problem because we are paying attention to other things.
Well, yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I guess if you only watch AEW...
You make it sound like we're all hoity-toity, like, will you watch other things besides
if you
WWE?
would just pay attention to NJPW, you'd clearly know.
I was about to say, we did say clearly numerous times earlier, so...
I think it would be cool in the idea that I know who it is, and I know Jon Moxley would want him, obviously, to be a part of AEW.
And I don't think he's re-signed a contract anywhere.
Not as far as I know, and Impact is notorious at making a big deal about it, because PCO did that, too. He re-signed his contract, they made pictures and put it all over social media, so I don't think that he has.
PCO.
PCO.
Every time I see a clip of PCO, I get grossed out. That dude, like, he just looks like he's broken all the time.
That's what Darby Allin's going to look like.
What, when he's still wrestling? When he's in? That's if he makes it down from that mountain.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say maybe like 40s. Darby Allin's gonna look like.
I don't know
PCO.
if Darby Allin's gonna be able to put that much weight on him.
You never know.
PCO looks like a lumpy potato.
You can only eat so many 7-Eleven burritos before you end up looking like PCO.
That is true.
Darby Allin still looks homeless,
Impact
and I know he has a home. He just really has that vibe.
That he's homeless?
Yeah.
It'd be really weird if he's homeless with makeup like that.
Well, I mean, that's all he invests in.
That would be
part of his contract. He gets free face paint.
He just gets free. That's what he gets paid in: face paint and trips to
food,
Mount Everest,
catering. Yeah, pretty much. One other match, and we were talking about how you shouldn't blow your load too early on a.
Blow it! I don't give a shit. I want to see this.
You shouldn't blow your load about a great match.
There's no way this is going to be the only match.
There's absolutely no way. As Nigel McGuinness would call him, Christian Cage will be defending his TNT title against Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland. I'm still not used to it. Like every time they say Adam Copeland, he's Edge.
He was Edge.
He's Edge. Just because Kenny Omega made that stupid fucking, it looks like you had me on the edge of my seat. I fucking reached for that TV.
Him and his last goddamn word. He always has to say the last thing.
God damn it.
My mom and my dad always told me, you have to have the last word. I swear to you, that is Kenny Omega. He gets off on that.
I know. And he's such a, I'm going to say it, hot take here. And again, I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan, not because he's not good. It's not for me.
He's a dork. Yeah.
Dude is such a neckbeard. He's such a neckbeard. Well, oh God.
I don't even know if we've got on the whole Boing rant.
Boing, oh God. I don't even know what it was. It was some Japanese promotion. It was a benefit for like a shooting that happened or something that had something to do with gun violence. And you know, at the end of Kenny Omega's little spiel, I bid you adieu, he points and he goes bang. Well, he decided that it's not in good nature to point your finger with a finger gun and go bang, especially after a tragic event that led to something like this that was a fundraiser for it. So he decided, okay, well, what can I do?
I think they said they decided in the car
what noise can I make that will not be a bang, but still kind of it's my shtick. Like it's what I do at the end of my matches. And I don't know what made him think of it. And I wish I could even figure out what we read this or heard this on.
Might have been on BTE.
He thought of it because of the sonic, when he jumps, boing, like he makes the noise, like boing. You know what I mean? When he jumps, it's like
that was good. That was good.
And There's a clip of him like he's at the top of the ramp, and his music's like pumping, and he fucking points his finger and he goes, boing. It's just like you look at him like, did it go that way in your head? Like you walk to the top of the ramp and I'm gonna go boing.
He did. He said it in the interview. Like, I thought about this and this is what I was going to do. And it's so funny because was my whole point at the beginning. Why couldn't he just not say it? He had to say something. He had to have the last word.
Gotta have the last word. But Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, TNT Championship.
What do you think's going to happen
Christian Cage is going to retain because of some bullshit. There's no
with
way.
Luch or Nick Wayne or
I don't know. Yes. No, I don't know. Something is going to happen. There's no way Christian Cage is dropping the TNT belt to Adam Copeland on an AEW Dynamite. Not happening.
Okay. It's on recording, so if it happens, and
I don't care. I can hit the delete button. It's gone.
I don't necessarily
I control this podcast.
See it going that way, but I do like that AEW is good about just letting whatever happen.
Do you think Adam Copeland's going to leave with the belt?
Maybe not Wednesday, but
oh no! I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I'm saying tomorrow night, no fucking way.
I really hope that it doesn't come down to Nick Wayne or Luchasaurus breaking this up. I just hope it's just Christian. I can't necessarily say it going 100% clean because Christian's so heel. He's got to do a low blow or something, but I hope it's just Christian.
He's going to wear a turtleneck sleeveless.
I can't wait.
Like
I can't wait.
Anybody who can cut the sleeves off of a turtleneck, put that shirt on, and walk out of your dressing room without feeling like the biggest tool in the world. My God.
Beth, clean the sheets. Daddy's coming home.
Oh my God. Oh, you didn't even see it. I forgot you didn't get to. Unfortunately, Jamie's one half of episode of SmackDown behind. Randy Orton came out. I know we're circling back to WWE.
Oh, it's okay.
Randy Orton came out when he signed the contract to be at SmackDown instead of Raw. Turned to Paul Heyman and said, "Hey, Paul, you can call Roman and tell him Daddy's home."
Oh, he did it again.
Within like 2 days, I have become the biggest Randy Orton fan.
Right?
That dude, I hope he gets 10 more years.
Oh my God, that with Rhea was just, I haven't gotten a pop from WWE in that long.
So good.
Like me personally.
Absolutely love it. Sorry, I just have to circle back to that.
No, that's
Christian Cage, Adam Copeland. Speaking of Kenny Omega, he's also going to have a match against Ethan Page this week.
Oh, I can't wait.
On,
huge Egon fan.
Collision?
Collision, correct.
Yep.
Correct.
We will also have an AEW Women's World Title match between Toni Storm and Sky Blue on Dynamite.
I really like both of those people's storylines right now.
Yes.
Sky Blue has her own thing going on. I don't necessarily think she's going to win against Toni Storm, which if she did, that would be horrible. That'd be like the TNT belt at this point.
Oh
where
my
it's
God,
just
yeah.
Changing hands like you're throwing garbage out. It's ridiculous.
Well, hopefully they give them more than 10 minutes this week on Dynamite for that championship match. Over on the WWE side, we have Friday Night SmackDown will be the, I guess, tribute to the troops. I didn't catch that last week. I must have missed that. But we're going to have a United States title tournament first round match. I don't even know what this is. Did I miss something?
I think I missed something too, but I guess we're finally doing something with the
Although
United States title.
I did finish Raw at work on mute.
Well, I mean, it would only be fair that Logan Paul actually has to defend this thing.
Yeah, I think that's the whole idea, having the championship. So he's really leaning into that heel.
Wow. If having to fight any of these people, I don't think would be good. Or maybe Santos. I could see Santos.
I would fight Dragon Lee as long as there's not anything that's higher than a milk crate.
Yeah. Shout out to Dragon Lee for getting a lot of TV time lately.
I don't know why WWE's pouring so much time into him. I'm not so talking good. Like he's bad. I'm just surprised.
He's really good. It's just like out of nowhere.
They're seeing the sunset on Rey Mysterio, and they're like, we need another luchador.
It's smart.
Which actually, it's funny. I bring that up while you were in the other room getting coffee. I just looked on Twitter on NXT. They just announced that Rey Mysterio is going to be in Dragon Lee's corner when he wrestles Dominic Mysterio for NXT North American title.
Very nice. So there you go.
We have Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee in the first round for the United States title tournament, as well as Bobby Lashley taking on Karrion Kross. I'm pretty sure you already said that. And then a singles match.
What the hell's Karrion Kross been?
Karrion Kross, just, hanging out with blonde bombshells.
Well, I mean, hanging out with Scarlett doesn't look like the worst thing in the world to have to
he's
do.
getting paid.
I mean, yeah.
You get paid to hang out with your hot wife and
sure, you get to work with her
think about
too.
clocks, I guess.
TikTok.
And we got a singles match between Asuka and Charlotte Flair. I'm sure that's going to be a banger. Damage Control. Bailey had some issues last week of not being informed that they were going to walk out to the ring. So a little bit of tension there at Damage Control Central.
Yeah, a little bit. Did you hear Bully Ray's interesting take about what would be a good direction for WWE? Hot one. It's a hot take.
Hire CM Punk.
So, yeah, that was hot enough. Bully Ray speculated that, okay, so Bailey has an issue with Damage Control. Damage Control kicks Bailey out. She leaves, whatever it may be. Charlotte is there to, yeah. See, you see where I'm going. Charlotte's there. Becky's there. Oh, Bailey, so sorry to see that happening to you. And then back comes Mercedes and four
Sasha
horsewomen
Banks, Monet
are back in the limelight.
Do you think she'll come back?
Imagine? Okay.
Talk about
honestly,
an egg on your face.
if you would have asked me 2 months ago, I would have said no way.
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago,
Punk is back. Absolutely, I think that she would come back.
Oh, I feel like if she came back, it would completely minimize why she left in the first place.
Sure.
Because exactly why she left is exactly the same thing that's going on with the tag division and the women right now.
Unfortunately, nothing has changed.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like if you're going to try and make a stand, and I don't know if that's what her whole thing was, what she was trying to make a stand. It feels like that's the way it was.
Feels like it, between her and Naomi.
And I feel like it would be in bad taste for her personally. I don't think it would be received well. But I'm not Bully Ray either.
No, for sure. But just
I don't know
thinking about the idea of the four of them being together again would be incredible.
Oh, it's amazing. I think it's a great idea storyline wise and
they'd be unstoppable, and then you have Damage Control with their group, and you have these big factions of women.
You stick a 4-on-4
great for the
at
women's
Rumble.
division.
Oh yeah. It'd be great.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see it happening. I don't see
anything's possible now.
I mean, yeah, of course, but I personally just don't think that she's gonna. I think she's gotten to the point where she couldn't go back to WWE and be received very well.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do it in Boston.
No, it would go over in Boston.
Do what you do for CM Punk. Hey, we're going to do it in Boston. Yeah. Guess what? Oh, Snoop Dogg's here. Oh. Money.
In Boston?
That's where she's from.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And if you haven't been able to tell yet, this is the end of the show. The caffeine's worn off. I'm tired. She's tired.
Thank you for sticking with us, friends. If you've been with us this entire time.
3/4
it's incredible.
3/4 of this was just us rambling about stupid shit.
I mean, isn't that what a podcast is about?
Pretty much. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've enjoyed what you heard, make sure you check us out at CAW Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We made a TikTok. I think there's a TikTok. I don't know how to use TikTok. Somebody teach me how to use TikTok. But make sure you follow us at CAW Wrestling Pod. You can follow my personal Twitter at Gunk Dudley.
And why don't you follow me too? I'm at a bacon party. And
make sure you check out Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast. Every Monday morning, a fresh episode is posted at 4 a.m. It is up before you are. So check us out. Tell your friends, tell your mom, pet your dog while you're listening to Coffee and Wrestling.
Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify if you have a minute.
Spotify.
Really appreciate that.
iTunes? No, it's Apple Music.
Music.
Apple Music. I can't keep up with all these.
Makes it sound old.
I am old.
Get on your iPod, go on iTunes, and give us a 5-star rating.
Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you in the next episode.